Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. I know many of you have submitted questions, and I will try to answer some of those questions in my statement today. Every day brings new angles, especially as we are focusing and expanding the search area. And as always, we have a responsibility to release only information that has been corroborated and also verified. We cannot respond to every request immediately, so I ask you to bear with us. As the Prime Minister said yesterday, the operation has entered a new phase. The search was already a highly complex multinational effort. It has now become even more difficult. The search area has been significantly expanded, and the nature of the search has changed. From focusing mainly on shallow seas, we are now looking at large tracts of land, crossing 11 countries, as well as deep and remote oceans. The number of countries involved in the search and rescue operation has increased from 14 to 25, which brings new challenges of coordination and diplomacy to the search effort. This is a significant recalibration of the search. The search and rescue operation continues to be a multinational effort, one led and coordinated by Malaysia. In the last 24 hours, the Prime Minister has spoken to the Prime Minister of Bangladesh, the President of Turkmenistan, the President of Kazakhstan, and the Prime Minister of India. Yesterday, the Foreign Minister of Malaysia briefed representatives from countries along the northern and also the southern corridors. At 2 p.m. today, the Foreign Ministry of Malaysia briefed representatives from 22 countries, including those along the northern and southern search corridors, as well as other countries that may be able to help. These include Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, Kyrgyzstan, Turkmenistan, Pakistan, Bangladesh, India, China, Myanmar, Laos, Vietnam, Thailand, Indonesia, and Australia. Malaysian officials are requesting support from these countries as well as others. This support includes general satellite data, radar playback, both primary and secondary, provisions for ground, sea, and aerial search, and assets as appropriate. We are currently discussing with all our partners how best to deploy assets along the two search corridors. At this stage, both the northern and southern corridors are being treated with equal importance. We are asking countries that have satellite assets, including the US, China, and France, amongst others, to provide further satellite data. And we are contacting additional countries who may be able to contribute specific assets relevant to the search and rescue operation. Surveillance aircraft are required and maritime vessels are needed, particularly for the southern corridor. As the Prime Minister said yesterday, up until the time the aircraft left military primary radar coverage, its movements were consistent with deliberate action by someone on the plane. I cannot comment on speculative theories as to what might have caused the deviation from the original flight path, as I do not wish to prejudice the ongoing investigation. I understand the hunger for new details, but we do not want to jump to conclusions. Out of respect for the families and the process itself, we must wait for the investigations to run its course. The Malaysian authorities are refocusing their investigations on all crew and passengers on board MH370, as well as all ground staff handling the aircraft. Yesterday, officers from the Royal Malaysian Police visited the home of the pilot. They spoke to family members of the pilot, and experts are examining the pilot's flight simulator. The police also visited the home of the co-pilot. According to Malaysian Airlines, the pilot and co-pilot did not ask to fly together on MH370. I would like to stress that Malaysia has been working with international law enforcement agencies since day one. Malaysian Airlines has confirmed that aircraft was subjected to the required maintenance program. The Boeing maintenance planning documents prove that. Checks are done according to this program, and the aircraft has been fully serviced and was fit to fly. The Inmarsat team arrived yesterday and will support the investigations team, which includes the Malaysian authorities and the UK and the US teams. I would like to conclude by reiterating that the search for MH370 has entered a new phase. The information released yesterday has provided new leads and given new directions to the search process. We will provide more details on the redeployment of assets when it becomes available. Facts must be corroborated and verified before being released. When possible, we will keep the media fully briefed, but our priority remains the search and rescue operation. To that end, we have engaged in diplomatic and investigative efforts over the past 24 hours. Thank you.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we are open for Q&A. We'll start with the local media first. I'll start from this corner first, local media. Please, sir, your name and agency you represent, sir.
Okay, Datuk Ismail dari Bernama. Okay, ada dua soalan. Pertama, lokasi pesawat semasa kali terakhir dikesan satelit pada jam 8.11 pagi. Dan yang kedua, kepada Datuk Ahmad Johari, dimaklumkan sebelum ini pesawat terbang dengan kandungan fuel 7 jam penerbangan. Tapi kali terakhir komunikasi dikesan adalah pada jam 8.11 pagi, menunjukkan telah lebih daripada 7 jam. Jadi adakah standard prosedur MAS untuk isi minyak fuel lebih sebelum penerbangan, atau MH370 ada land somewhere untuk refuel?
To be exact, let you answer the first one, the second.
Okay, terima kasih. Dalam penjelasan kita, jam yang waktu yang paling akhir penerbangan mengikut apa yang kita dapat daripada Inmarsat setelah adalah 8.11 pagi waktu tempatan Malaysia. Jadi dari pesawat itu hilang daripada radar kita, iaitu daripada Point Igari, dan air turn back kepada Straits of Malacca, dan dari situ ada 6 handshake oleh yang didapati, yang ditemui oleh satelit Inmarsat, dan yang keenam adalah 8.11 pagi waktu Malaysia, UTC time 0011. Dan itu yang kita dapati daripada maklumat Inmarsat satelit.
Untuk soalan kedua, pesawat itu dimuatkan minyak untuk penerbangan antara Kuala Lumpur dengan Beijing. Dia punya flight time, kalau tak silap saya, 6 jam setengah. Selalunya kita tak muatkan untuk 6 jam setengah. Selalunya kita buat reserve fuel antara 45 minit hingga 1 jam. Ini untuk buat diversion. Kalau kata Beijing airport kata tutup, kita kena pergi the next nearest airport. So we normally fill up the aircraft dalam, I think this aircraft fill up kalau silap dalam 7 jam setengah hingga 8 jam. Ya.
Okay. No, depan. Thank you.
I'm Keith Kam from BFM 89.9. This is to you, Dr. Sri Isham. In your capacity as the Defence Minister, there's obviously been a breach in airport security, SOPs, as well as the nation's airspace security. What moves or steps are you thinking of doing to implement to rectify this situation? Furthermore, the Chief of Air Force on a couple of days ago said that the data from the radar was not monitored real time. He said that what he read was from a recording of the data. So has someone been sleeping on the job, or should we rethink the way we look after our national security? Another one for the IGP is that investigating the engineers of MH370 before it took off, what sort of leads do you hope to get from this? Thank you, sir.
I think looking ahead, that will come with time, because my immediate focus is to look for MH370. Secondly, I think it is not right to say that there is a breach of standard operating procedures. That was already clarified by the Chief of the Air Force earlier. Any new information that we have received, of course, we will verify it with the standard operating procedures that exist. But like I said, this is an unprecedented case. What we are going through here, ladies and gentlemen, is being monitored across the world, and it may change aviation history. I think it's lessons to be learned for everybody. The other question was relating to the IGP.
Well, as I said, the 4 areas of our focus on the investigations: number 1, hijacking; number 2 is sabotage; number 3, personal problem; and number 4 is psychological problem. That doesn't change, and that includes all the ground staff, everybody.
Okay, please.
The Prime Minister mentioned yesterday the refocus because of new information of certain equipment being intentionally turned off. And I believe the police, the IGP himself, have, in the last 24 hours, as I stated in my earlier statement, have started intensifying the study. That doesn't mean that we have not studied the manifest list earlier, but Tan Sri, maybe you could elaborate on that.
Well, in light of this new development and findings of the technical team, we have classified our investigation under section 130C of the Penal Code. This provides investigation into offences of hijacking, sabotage, includes act of terrorism, and also all offences under the Aviation Offences Act. So that covers everything. So and that means that we are intensifying our investigation.
Okay.
But the focus remains the same.
Could you speak up, please?
Saya tak dengar.
I'm here. Could you speak up, please?
Ya, kita menyiasat ke semua. Itu termasuk 4 fokus yang saya sebut tadi tu, including the ground staff, termasuk engineer, termasuk technical officer, termasuk orang yang tarik kapal terbang, semuanya.
Okay, please.
Malam dah diberitahu kenaan operasi di Selatan dah dihentikan. Benarkah kapal dari China masih berada di kawasan itu?
Setakat ini saya tak tahu dari segi lokasi aset-aset yang sedia ada di lokasi berkenaan. Tetapi yang penting daripada semalam dan hari ini, kita tengah melihat dan berbincang dengan semua pihak seperti saya nyatakan tadi. Bagaimana aset-aset ni akan diberikan tumpuan kepada the Northern and Southern Corridor yang diumumkan tadi. Ini mesti merupakan satu proses yang memerlukan koordinasi yang begitu rapi sekali, dan semua patut memberikan kita ruang sedikit untuk membincang kerana ia melibatkan pihak ketiga.
Okay, please.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. There's talk
Identify your from, sir.
I'm from the Edge. There's talk among the civil servants that the government knows where the missing plane is and it has landed somewhere. And you actually offer a comment.
Clearly that is not true. If not, I won't be standing here in front of you.
And that corner, please. Yes, gentlemen. You're from, sir.
China News Service.
China News Service, okay?
Are there any people on board who have trained how to fly an airplane besides the pilot and co-pilot? And we know that at this sector, made a turn back at Berhubung. Is that pre-group for anyone, or even someone did it after you take off?
Could you repeat the question, please? Could somebody give him a mic, please? Thank you.
I'm from China News Service. Are there any people on board who have trained to fly an airplane besides the pilot and co-pilot?
and we know that the plane made a turn back at the Strait of Malacca. Is it a pre-programming one or someone did it after it took off? Thank you.
You can answer the first one, and you can answer the second. Okay.
We have not received the reply of background checks on all the passengers as yet. There are still a few countries yet to respond to our request for a background check. But there are a few intelligence agency, foreign intelligence agency, who has cleared all the passengers.
The second answer is that the air comeback was not predetermined. Thank you.
Okay, please identify. No, it's for local media first. I want local media first. Okay, in front here. No, the mic, please.
Sarah from Wikipedia. Tan Sri cakap tadi passenger ni macam dah clear. So maksudnya sekarang fokus on the cabin crew and apa details.
Saya kata bukan semua. Ada intelligence agency luar negara yang telah pun memberi clearance kepada semua passenger. Tapi kita masih lagi menunggu lain-lain agensi lagi dan juga security ataupun polis daripada beberapa buah negara yang masih belum memberi respon terhadap permintaan kita untuk membuat respon check on some of the passengers. Antaranya China sudah, antaranya China, India sudah.
Okay, please.
Jauh mana kebenaran kawalan laporan yang pesawat kini berada di Jakarta?
Setahu saya tak ada asas untuk kita membuat kenyataan seperti itu.
Pending, please, that's all. Please set up, pass the mic over to her, please.
Pardon from the Sun. There are reports that initially offers from the Interpol was denied and FBI wasn't invited for the investigation. Datuk Sri, can you please comment?
That's not true. We work with every agency,
And
including Interpol.
And I can confirm that because I also have access to both the intelligence agencies around the world and also other international bodies. We've been getting a lot of cooperation, and I think it is unprecedented the amount of people that have come forward to assist us in this exercise.
Okay, on this please. Okay, we're going to open to foreign media after this.
My question is point to Dory. Regarding to now is the 9th day, how was the insurance compensation of the families?
Right now, we are giving immediate financial assistance. We have not actually looked at compensation, until we know exactly what happened to the aircraft.
Okay, now you give it to her, please.
There had been reporting about a suspicious passenger who was born in China and was educated in Turkey. Have you investigated on this person? Is there any details? And could you please say that again in English, that how much fuel was added into the plane? Was it more than usual? Thank you.
To the first question, as I said, our investigation covers everybody on board.
Okay, on the second question, the plane took off with the planned fuel. There's no additional fuel that we put in. The planned fuel means the route plus whatever additional we need for diversion.
Okay, please.
Good afternoon, I'm from CCTV. As we know that the police have visited the pilot a few days before and talked to the family, but as we know that today that his family has already moved out before the missing plane, so we want to know who are the police talking to the few days before, and the moving out is a routine or abnormal, and are there any specific evidence related to the pilots?
I'm personally not aware of any.
No, nobody moved out.
At the far end, the lady and pink place. Right.
Hello, so you're live on Sky News in London. Our thoughts very much with your country there.
Thank
It's a
you.
very difficult time.
I really do appreciate that.
So I wonder if you could perhaps outline in a bit more detail what would take
on the first part of the question, we took possession of a simulator, of a flight simulator, and we have dismantled it from the home, and we have assembled it at our office, and we are getting experts to look at it now.
Yes, it is possible for the aircraft to be transferred on the ground as long as there's electrical power to the aircraft system. Thank you.
Okay, please.
Hi, over here, around the Street Times. Can you tell us, has any group or individual made any contact with the Malaysian government, the airline, or any other authority to seek ransom or the release of prisoners or to make any other demands over MH370?
No, they have not. And that makes it very difficult for us to verify whether it is a hijacking or a terrorist act. And that's why the IGP, when he mentioned about the 4 areas that they're focusing, all possibilities we are not taking for granted at all. No, there have not been any.
Yes, please.
Hi, sir. This is Anish from Radio Hong Kong. I'd just like to know why the authorities wait for 8 days, 7 days before searching pilots. So there was much speculation on day 3 already that perhaps someone very skillful would have diverted the plane. So, I mean, a lot of people are wondering why is that?
As I've said earlier, everybody on board MH370 is being investigated, including the pilot and the co-pilot. In light of the new development, we went to the house and took possession of the simulator.
So what about computers, mobile phones, interviewing?
Everything that will help us in our investigation.
Did you feel it was necessary to do it earlier?
We don't see the necessity at the earlier stage.
Okay, please, your question, sir.
Yes, we have the information of the attitude, but it changes. But we are talking to the service provider for the radar system, whether that particular height of the aircraft can differ not because of the system calibration work on the system. So we are working with the service provider of that particular radar system.
You have to understand that we had the primary and secondary information from the DCA, and then as I indicated earlier, reaffirmed by the Prime Minister yesterday, that sensitive data from the military was actually revealed to the experts. This is not normally done, and if we did not reveal it, we'll probably be still searching in the South China Sea. Now we've got data from satellite imaging, and as I indicated earlier, we are now working with other third parties on all the possible information that would help us in this search.
Okay, please.
From Xinhua News Agency, it is said that more than 600 islands have suitable conditions for landing with this searching area. So if it's true, I mean the number is true, will you really search one by one?
We have identified 2 areas, 2 arcs. We have given the chart to you yesterday. So both arcs on the north over the land, and the southern arc from the islands of Indonesia right to the southern Indian Ocean, and all that will be checked by the vessels and maritime vessels and aircraft that we are talking to the countries that should be able to help us in this.
As I stated earlier, since yesterday, where we're now looking at the northern and the southern corridor, we're looking at a large tracts of land. We're crossing 11 countries, as well as deep and remote oceans. Though in a way it gives us some certainty to where we are looking at, but the areas concerned are massive, and that requires a lot of coordination with a coordinated approach with many nations, and that's what we've been doing since yesterday.
Yes, please.
I'm from MH370. Sir, in investigating the passengers, have you requested one particular country for background information of one or two passengers or from other nationalities?
No, I think we've treated them all the same.
Yeah, but also in entering the new phase of this investigation, have you linked motivation, for example, to a certain corridor? If it's like suicide, it should go to the south, should have, if it's crashed to the south. If it has political background, it goes to the north. Do you make any association to the
No,
corridor?
no, not at
Okay,
all.
next question. Pass over to the gentleman on the other side, please.
My name is Kashif from Times Now in India. My question is for the police chief. Sir, you said all four possibilities. A former U.S. Deputy Secretary of State has said that this could be a 911 kind of attack in an Indian city. How will you respond to that?
Well, anybody can say anything, but our focus remains the four areas. That doesn't change. And on top of that, when I said we classified it under Section 130C of the Malaysian Penal Code, that means the procedure under the SOSMA or the Security Measures, Security Offences Special Measures Act will apply.
Yes, please.
Hi, Team Schubert, CNN. I have two questions. The first is, can you confirm that a recreation was staged with another 777